Hello, this is Kim with Kim's Creations and Card Ministries. I am coming to you on a pre-recorded video. Today is Monday, April the 13th, 2026. I've been working on some background pages. I don't think I videoed the background pages that I did. Oh, yeah, I did. I did the bubble pages, the bubble art. So today I'm doing just some watercolor background pages. I'm working on a artistic trading card, and so I needed some background pages for that, so I started doing that. When I start pulling out paints, I kind of don't want to put my paints away because I want to do some more painting. I did not use watercolor paper. This is just an inexpensive cardstock. And I'm blending over here. You can kind of see my palette. I don't know what kind of watercolors they are. They're just some watercolors. And I used a variety of blues and these greens right here to kind of do this mix up of blues and greens on cardstock. And then I'm like, you know what? I might as well do some papers for some journals too. This is a little heavy to be a page in a journal, but they will be backgrounds once this dries, and then I'll flatten it. But they will be backgrounds for my artistic trading cards. And so then I did some papers just out of copy paper. Just copy paper, and I did a few again with the blues and the greens. There's one. I did 3. So I figured if I do 3 signatures, I'd have for 3 different signatures in a journal. I could put 1 in each signature. I really ought to do a lot more of these, especially if I'm going to do a beach one, a nautical themed one. But those are the 3 with the blues and the greens. I really like the way those turned out. I got them hanging all over my craft room to dry, and hoping that a kitty cat doesn't jump on top of them. Anyway, again, I'm Kimberly O'Brien, Kim's Creations and Card Ministries. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I don't know if I'm going to be pulling out any of my Stampin' Up! Stuff today, but there's all my contact information. If you need to send me a message or talk to me or anything, please feel free. Also, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I could really use a boost on my page. Now I've pulled out some pinks, little purple, little different varieties, these colors right here, and then I pulled over a couple of these purples. So that's what I'm working on now. So I thought I'd just show y'all how easy this is to make some of your own pages for your journals, or just for any kind of background pages in general, like for your cards if you want to make your own backgrounds. I am hoping to stamp some background pages too, but like I said, right now, since I had the paints out, I'm gonna go ahead and do some while I've got them. And then I realized I need to be doing some pinks because I'm wanting to do a journal for my daughter's for her breast cancer journey. She's had students and people write her sweet little notes, and a journal would be a place she could keep all that together in one spot. So let's see, I'm not sure how well these are in the photo. I'm trying to get these lighter colors in here first. So there's 2 light pinks. I'm just kind of mixing them up together. And I did pick up a little bit of an orange there, but it's not that big a deal. I actually kind of like the way it looked, but it's probably not going to stay by the time I get through putting down. And I did, since this is just copy paper, I did not like wet my paper ahead of time. I've just got my paints wet here, just trying to keep my paints kind of wet so I can pick them up and get them on the page. Now, the more water you put, the more diluted they're going to be, because you can kind of see as I'm pulling my ink across the page, there's less pigment in the inks as I pull them across the page. And as I go with less water, if you saw that, so I picked up some that didn't have as much water in it. Y'all, I am by no means a watercolorist, but I've been learning as I go about using watercolors, and I really love using watercolor, and I would like to get better at it at some point in my life. But it's like anything, you know, it takes practice. I'm not a great artist. I have done some pieces that are decent. I've gotten some compliments on a few of my pieces that I've done. But again, it is time consuming. I'm getting some hair. I don't know if it's hair from me, a cat, or just some fuzz off of my brush or something laying around. But here we go. Try to get some more pigment in here. Down here. And then I'm going to try something a little different here. In just a second, let me finish. Get a little bit more color up here if I can. I try to keep my brush strokes for the most part. When I'm doing a background, I try to keep my brush strokes going the same direction as much as possible. I totally missed that little corner up there completely. I don't know how I missed that. Probably my pages turning up my from being wet. It starts curling up a little bit. All right, so I've got kind of a good background. It's a little bit of a mix of color, not a ton of a mix of colors. So what I'm going to do now is bring in this darker color right here and just kind of bring it in. Get another layer of color. And I'm not trying to necessarily cover the whole page with it, but just kind of blend it in a little bit here and there. Although I did kind of start off putting it in pretty thick. I'm going to turn my brush at this different angle and bring in some streaks like that. Actually need to get a little bit more water in it now. I'll spread that one a little bit more to get some color. Okay. Now I can go with the other side of my brush a little bit. Just to add a little bit of depth to the color here. Now, so on that other one, this one here, I added some purple. But I want to do this one without adding the purple to it. So I'm trying to do it a little different. And what I am going to do. All right, let's see. Because I think I might use a different. I think I'm going to use a different brush. I had a round brush over here a minute ago. I think I'm going to use this round brush right here. And I'm going to pull in this color right here. It looks a little bit more red. Or it's just a deeper pink. Let's see what happens. Yeah, it's a deeper. I'm going to just kind of do kind of a rose. Not exactly, but something kind of like a little rose. It's just a circle, y'all. I was doing, so there's a way to do roses. Let me see if I can remember how to do them. I haven't practiced them. You're supposed to do like little C's. C's. And then you start just going around or something like that. We'll see how it looks when it dries. But I'm kind of liking my little swirly cues here. But I might try to make them a little bit more genuine. Just to add something else to my page here. That was probably way too big. Again, y'all, it's just for background paper, so I'm not terribly concerned with it looking like roses, really. I'm just looking for some depth to my colors and just something different to put in my pages. And I also got to keep in mind too that I probably should just stick to more, do more of just the pale pages, just so places, whoops, I got the wrong color there. Places for people if they want to write in their journal, which my daughter isn't a big writer. If she wrote, it would just be note, these are the notes I got from my students or something. I doubt she'll be writing a lot. She's a math person. She's not a writing person. All right, let's try again. Do some more. I still kind of like my little swirls as much as I do my C's. Well, that kind of looked like an eyeball. All right, so we'll just kind of let this set this one aside, let this dry. Let's do another one where I'm mostly just sticking to pink for my paper because I need some, just like I said, I just need some pink pages for my book, for my journal. So let's just do a pink page. Oh, I need to go back to my big brush again. Let me pull out my big brush because it takes too long just to fill up a page with paper. A page with ink when you're just using a tiny brush. Probably need to turn over my piece of cardboard that's on the background here. Yeah, I really just want a pale background. I think I will try a little something though. Here in a minute, let's see. Get this finished. So I told you I usually try to keep my streaks all going in the same direction. I'm curious what will happen if I turn and do them the other way. Have some going the other direction. And I had a little bit more ink right there. So this would be a really pretty background page. We'll see. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit. I'm gonna set it aside and dry a little bit, and I'm gonna do something else while that one's drying a tad. I'm gonna bring in this other, let's see. Doing it again. It was kind of pretty to do the blue and the green together because they blended so nicely together. So I'm debating on bringing in another color with this pink that's not purple, something that's not purple, and seeing what happens with it. Because it's, all right, so I've got it really, mostly the pale colors right now, because then I can go back with some darker to go over it if I need to, and add in some darker shades. All right, so this is pretty good. Oh, I missed that again. There we go. Get that again. All right. Now, let's see what happens right here. I want to see what this color looks like. No, that's still kind of pink. I want to get this one. I want to get these oranges in here and see what happens. If it doesn't turn out too muddy, maybe the lighter one. I'll be careful not let it get muddy. I was just curious how it was going to look. It's all, if you're careful and don't do it when it's too wet, you get the actual orange and not the mud. That looks good right there, actually. So if you get the right blend, you can kind of get a coral color out of it. Because I get a little bit of a coral. Hopefully, don't know if that's in the camera or not right there. Whoops, I got the wrong orange. It's getting a little bit of a coral in there, just a touch. Okay, so the top of it is kind of dry. I'll look at my camera, see where I'm at. Yeah, I got it all in the camera. Let's get this right here. All right, now what I'm going to do now is get these darker pinks and go in with pinks and fuchsias and whatever they are. Get some streaks of those colors in here now. Now this is starting to look more like the greens and the blues, but it's the pinks and with the orange instead, and you get a kind of a neat blend of color going there. get that kind of dry. That orange in there again. I'm liking this. I think this will be pretty in the breast cancer book too, even though it's not totally pink. I think I'll like it. I didn't get the right colors again. I'm tired. It's almost 10:30. I've been busy all day today. I had an appointment, a doctor's appointment, an appointment of a contractor coming to get a price on redoing my dad's driveway. And then I was working on some of my Facebook Marketplace posts. I've updated my Marketplace stamp sets and embossing folders that I'm selling. So if you want to find me on Marketplace, or if you've got something you're looking for, you can message me. I'll see if I have it. Pull in some more of the orange again. There. But yeah, so I was working on that, and then I worked at my job at the Hallmark store. And y'all, I have a new job. So I'm going to be working at a hotel, the front desk. And if you're a praying person, I would appreciate your prayers, because I'm looking forward to it, and I need the money. But I'm really concerned about being on my feet in an 8-hour shift, because you know, I've had problems with my feet for as long as I can remember. But you know, they like you to stand up. So I like the way that turned out with the pink and the orange. I think that's really pretty. I'll probably do another one like that too. All right, so let me pull this pink one back. It's pretty dry. It's not dry, but it's pretty dry. So I'm trying to remember. Oh, I was going to do my strokes the other direction. So I'm going to turn it this way. And let's get just the pink this time. And we'll go back to the two. I'm going to still use the same two lighter colors right here. But I'm going to go in this direction this time. Let's see what happens to the texture. Instead of doing them all the same way, now I've got it going 2 different ways. Be interesting to see what my texture, how it looks when it dries. It may just blend it all up together since these are watercolors, but I don't know. But since it's not watercolor paper and just copy paper, I don't know. So the other thing is, I've been doing some of Margaret from Seven Plaza and Tony from Crafty by Tony, I think that's right, was doing the ABC thingies. And I had grand plans for a couple of the letters that I was going to do. And y'all, I just had so much going on last week. It just didn't happen. Because I had I for ink, although I might have done I for ink. And J for junk journal. I was going to pull junk mail out and do stuff with junk mail. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I think the last one I did was maybe H, and I did handmade. That's what it was, and I did my handmade papers. So I was going to do ink blobs for I, and I was going to do stuff with my junk mail for J. And I guess maybe today might be K. And I don't know what I would have done for K. I didn't look that far ahead. But anyway, there you go. So I didn't get it done. All right, we'll see how that looks when it dries with the stuff going the 2 different directions. All right, if I find a place to lay it. I think I can stack a couple of my green papers up. All right, let's get another one. Might as well do another one. Let's do another one similar to the one I just did with the the light pinks. Let's get that spot this time. I tend to start over on this side, and then there's not as much ink on my other side. So now I'm starting more in the middle and see if I can, or on the left side, so I can have more ink on the left side this time. There we go. These are some really pretty pinks, actually. I might do a different shade on my next page. Maybe I just pulled out a handful of paper earlier. I don't know how much I brought out. If it's going to be a... I really should do a lot of these pages. And then I'm thinking too about the other side of them is not going to be pink, but it might bleed through a little bit. Let's add some pigment. Do a little bit more pigment when I don't have water. All right, I'm going to try one of these other ones now. I'm going to try this one. It's almost more of a red, but it's kind of a neat. Oh yeah, look at that. That's cool. I like the way that looks. A little bit more water. And I'm trying to not, my brush is separating some. Try not to, it's because I'm putting it in this. I'm going to be a little bit careful about putting it in my ink. Just to not cover the page, but just give it some texture. Might go back in with the light color a little bit right here. So I made that. Lighten it up a little bit with some water. Now we'll go back and add a streak. Got these, like adding these streaks. Okay, so that they're not, well, none of them are exactly the same anyway, but to make my papers all a little bit different. So I have this one, and look at this. This is really, I'm really liking adding that orange in that one. And then this one, that's where I did the two different directions with the paintbrush. So here you go. And then let's see, let's do another. I've got another piece of paper. At least one more piece. Yeah, I've got one more piece of paper. I've got 1, 2, 4, 5 pinks. Let's get another one. What do I want to do with this one? I might do another one with some kind of swirlies on it. Let's go back to my light colors again. And I think that when these all end up drying, they're going to dry lighter than what they look. I'm thinking they are. Seems like I've done some watercolor stuff on copy paper before. It seems like it dries kind of light, which will be ideal for journal pages. Came up with some cute things today. Okay, so the Hallmark store where I work at, so they, they get cards and the cards get outdated and they just throw them away. So they're like, well, you can have them if you want them or whatever. So I was going through some of the cards and I decided I could cut some of them up and use them as ephemera. And then I was coming across, there were a lot of cards for children and had these cute little characters and stuff on them. I thought, yeah, I can cut these characters out and make little books for the kids to look at. So I have these grand foster babies now, and I can make these for the and it won't matter if they tear them up or not because they were just made from cut up pieces of paper. It's not like, other than maybe some of the pages that I put in the actual book, I mean, probably nothing in there would have been something I paid for, ink. If I end up putting paper like this in there, maybe, but most of this stuff would be things I've cut up from old books or cards that were going to get thrown away. So I think I'm going to make some books for the kids to look at and to play with and do whatever they want with them. So anyway, all right, so this one's good. Now I think I want to use wish I had a brush I didn't mind. I don't know if I have a brush that I don't mind messing up. Let me try something. I'll just piece of cardstock. A minute. Just want to experiment. And I think I'm going to use maybe this color. Let's just see. No, this one doesn't do it so well. Well, maybe. If I push down really hard. I don't know if I can push that down hard on that paper. It might tear up. Again, that might not be the right color to use. Is it going to show up? Thinking. What else could I use? What could I use? I could just use like a sponge dauber, but I don't want to put it in my ink. I'd rather use a brush. Let me see if I have another brush that would work. Let's see. These all are. Whoops, sorry, kitty. I didn't mean to scare you. Like really good brushes. I don't really want to use any of those. Let me look and see if I have some old ones over here. these just came, this was a value pack that I got at Michael's. I doubt any of these are any great value. Craft Smart brushes. Maybe these might work. They're for any kind of painting. Is there like a flip off? No. I'll just cut them open then. I'll cut them open on this side. Okay. It's very weird because when I first started painting, I fussed at the one kitty and told her she couldn't be in here. But she actually left, which is really kind of weird. The other kitty is up there in her box. All right, let me try. Let's try this color and see if this one works. I mean, this might work. Still not sure I like that color. Let's try this one. This is definitely more of an orange. Ugh, that was kind of dirty looking. Must have had some red in it still. Got something down up underneath it. I don't know what that color is. Something dirty got up under it. I'm not sure. No, I'm not liking that. Let me try this one again. It's not very dark. Let's try something else. Let's try this. Let's see what this is. That's a purpley. I don't know why whatever I've got in my color there is looking awful. Get another paper towel here. Maybe I'll just stick to that. I almost feel like maybe it's just my water. I use spray. All right, let me figure out what color I want to use here. All right, do I want to use this color? I think I want to use this color. And maybe I'll just, I guess I just kind of want to do little blobs. I don't really want, I thought circles would be the easiest kind of a blob, but I don't know. Okay, I'm going to use the spray. All right. Okay. Get it wet again. So just get my paint and the ink and pushing down on the brush and doing that. That's all I'm doing. Let one kind of go off the page, maybe a little bit there. And do another one like that. I'm not going to push quite down as hard. That one won't be as big. So by mostly just not pushing down as hard, they're a little smaller. Probably need to make that a little wetter again. That one will be a little bigger. Paint wet again. I don't know if y'all saw, this is my squirt bottle that I squirt water on my kitties with, but I also use it for watercolors. This just came from Ace Hardware. some of them work better than others. They work great if it's just water, but I have found, like, I put my floor cleaner in there and I don't think it works. I guess the floor cleaner causes it to jam up a little bit, but I'm not dipping my brush every time, so they're coming with different shades. I'll come off the page down here a little bit, off the page a little bit here. And kind of came up. I'll do off the page right here. I think that's enough. So we'll let that one dry. I think that was my last piece of paper, so I'm just going to stop with these. Let me put my stuff out of the way and we'll look at everything again before I go. So I know I showed y'all the ones with the cardstock. They're going to go on my artistic trading cards, and I'll show you those when I work on those some more. These are still a little wet. They're cardstock. They need to dry completely so I can press them underneath something. I do need to show you all my papers from the other night. I've got them over here getting pressed under a bunch of books. So here's this one that I just did. I'm going to actually leave it on this piece of paper. Well, yeah. I'm going to leave it on here. And I'm going to move my lemon. Woo! Got some water on that still. I didn't realize it. Let me get that. There's where my spill was the other night. Those of you who watched me make a mess with the other ink with my straw blowing. If you missed that, you need to go watch my straw blowing. If nothing else, just to see me make a mess. And I was blaming my cats for causing me to have messes. And yeah, I made a mess. All right, so here's this one with the semi something like a rose. And then this is the one where I took the brush the two different directions. I'll move that out of the way. It's picking a shadow. Sorry. Okay. Where'd my trash can go? Here it is. And then this one, I liked the way it turned out. Came back with the darker streaks to add that. This is the one with the orangey that I added to it. I thought it turned out really pretty too. And then this is one, I did this one off camera with some purples in it. These can all go in my breast cancer book. And then the one I just did is pretty. I think I need to do more like this and like this. Just these plain ones without the patterns. But every now and then it's nice to have a little pattern. And then my blue-green ones, because I liked doing it so much for my other ones. Again, these are just on copy paper, so they're not thick like my ones on the cardstock were. But aren't those colors so gorgeous? See, these are my colors, my beachy colors. I just love, 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 love. These are almost dry. These were the first ones I did. So when all of these dry, I'll press them all to get some good, get them kind of flat. I think somebody said they iron their pages. I might have to look into ironing. I was thinking about it. All right, I'm getting my stuff out from under these books so I could show you the papers from the other day with the blowing of the straw. Now what I'm wanting to do, there are a couple of these I want to go back and add some color to them. And I haven't done that yet. Like I said, I've been pressing them. Let's move these back over here so I can show you these. So these aren't so wet anymore that it doesn't hurt for them to kind of touch each other. All right, so a couple of these were just like I laid my straw. I laid my straw on it so it got a little, but I might go back and add some stuff to this because it will still be pretty to use. This was from the early colors that I had used. I think I came back and added this other blue to it, but this was like the ones I did off camera. Again, this started off with one I did off camera, and then I ended up being like a page where I was kind of spilling on. And then I think I added some bubbles to it. This was definitely one of the pages that I was, like, just had my cup sitting on or my brushes on. And it just, so it's pretty. I'll use it. And as well as this one. This was another one. These were just pages that I was like laying my brush or laying my straw on. And you can even see where my cup was laying on this one. This is the one that got spilled on. And this, yeah, this is one of the ones I did with my early colors before I came on video. All right, here's one. I did this one with you guys the other night. And this, so this is how they came out. And you can really see where the bubbles left the bubble patterns. That one left some different darks and lights. This was my quote-unquote Christmas. Again, they're not the brights of the Christmas. They're more of the dull reds and greens. But it could still go in my Christmas journal. And then this one. Oh, yeah, here's one of my early ones. I never added any extra color to it. And I may just leave it like that. And then this one, too. I really like some of the bubbles, how they looked on this one. I may not do anything else to those. Here's my red, white, and blue one. And that blob, it moved from up here to down here. It just, you can see it left this big blob stain. So I went back and added some more bubbles on top of it. But you got some nice texture of the bubbles. And you can see the background, the earlier ones in the blue. Here's another one. And so some of these are like really shiny. I don't know where the shine came from, but there's some shine to those. That's very strange. I don't know. I don't know why it's shiny. Hope y'all can see that shine. And this one. Here's another one of that color. The color box. I really like. I kind of like these colors by themselves. They might go in my beachy one. And then this one where I had spilled everything and I wiped up the spill and I used the paper towel and just made this paper from the paper towel. I might go and do some splatter on these, just like with a darker color. I think that might be pretty. So there were 4 that I picked up. I used the paper towel that I used to wipe off to clean up my mess. And then this one where I was just trying to do circles with a paper towel holder. And I need to add something to this. I think it needs more. So anyway, there's all those papers for the other night. I really like that one a lot. I like that one a lot. I'm trying to decide which are my favorite. I love this color. I might have to do more in this color because I think that was this Ocean Breeze color. I might have to do some more of those. I think that's the color I did off camera. What else do I really like a lot? I actually like one of these pages that was my mess. I love that, the way that turned out. It's kind of one of my favorites. Let's see. I kind of like the Christmassy ones. I almost like the ones that are just one color better. This one's pretty. I like these. I like the way these colors turned out. So there are all of those, and I think this one. I think those are my favorites, and that one, and then again the ones we did tonight. This I did off camera. That one was off camera. We did this one together. We did this one. This was the brush going 2 different directions. This was the last rosette page. This was the one where I added the orange, which I really like it a lot. And then this is the other rosette page. It's really kind of bright for my book, though, so I'm not sure I like it as much. But who knows? When it dries a little bit more, it may be much not as light, because remember, I think these were darker too, and then they dried. All right, that's everything for tonight. Again, this is Kim with Kim's Creations and Card Ministries. Please leave constructive comments. I appreciate it. Any questions, here's how you can contact me. And maybe I can get back. I'm working my new job the next 3 nights. Maybe at the end of the week I can jump back up on the ABC April 2026 challenge. I'd like to be able to do some more with that. Anyway, you guys have a great night. God bless. Bye-bye.